How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dallas, aka Infernus, and have you ever thought that text symbols and/or symbols in general, have you ever really thought much of them? Like, you know, when you use a smiley face in a text message, have you ever really thought about what that actually means? Who created the symbol itself? And that goes for all kinds of stuff. Maybe every single emoji that's ever existed. Welcome to YouTube Unsolved. Today we're going to be covering, if you ever see this symbol, turn around and run. Very recently there has been a form of movement that I guess you can call that's been going around. And it's not all that unsimilar to certain other things that have sprung out, like profile pictures being seen more often on YouTube. We've seen that across years of time, on the internet and on YouTube, of course. Since this is YouTube Unsolved, we're going to be focusing on YouTube. But this time, we have something that goes far deeper than just a simple meme, and definitely far darker than a movement of any kind. This specific symbol right here has been showing up in a bunch of places, more particularly now on YouTube, in the form of comments. Lots of people have began to notice a definite increase of this specific symbol showing up in profile pictures of random commenters on videos all across YouTube, except there is absolutely no rhyme or reason as to why they are. There's no specific connection with the names of these people or whoever, whatever, is running each channel, and it turns out that none of these really have any subscribers. They all say the same thing. Would you like to join the Legion? And that's it. And there's never any follow-up, which in a sense kind of brings us back to the comment bot situation on YouTube as well. Similar to that, but except not really at all. Because when you reply to any of these comments, which, don't do that, don't try this at home, you'll be sent a link in the reply section of wherever you got the comment. And it will be to a random website. It's always a different redirected link, but it always goes to the same exact page. And the page is just a blank black background, 2 lines of text, and a login prompt that says, if you do not seek us, leave now. If you did, leave now. You are not ready to cross. You're not ready to cross? So immediately there's absolutely no context to any of this, and when it says you're not ready to cross, well, you're just about dang right. I'm not about ready to do anything except cross the street away from Nopeville that I'm not going to enter, but of course we're going to go in there anyways, because that's what we do in this series. By the way, subscribe and you'll get 10 years of good luck, otherwise you won't get 10 years of good luck. That button about 2 inches below the screen better be great. But every single one of these channels that would reply with this link to this random website, and the website of course has the symbol on there as the only other thing on the entire page. Doing some reverse imaging searching, a little bit of added finesse, leads you to a single YouTube channel, which goes by the name of... There is no name to the channel, but the way that you can distinguish it is the fact that it has an actual verification symbol to it. And they have videos. As a matter of fact, they have 30 videos on their channel, each with the thumbnail of this symbol, which of course, the general visual description being just a circle with 2 lines, one line being longer than the other on one side, and vice versa on the other one, having no other particularly noticeable aspects to it. Of course, all this just stands out to be nothing more than just a plain-out, unoriginal internet ARG. Ultimately, when you start looking into the research of the actual video content themselves, then you start to realize that, in reality, there's not really any reason at all for whoever running this channel to be actually wanting people to play some kind of a puzzle game, because none of the puzzles are really puzzles at all. The titles all add up if you were to put them backwards to a quote from the book of Brave New World, and each is talking about worldwide events at any given time, almost all only 1 minute long. But if that wasn't even enough for you, then unfortunately it takes a dark turn. It's just an art project. Stop being so ignorant, me. Of course. Until people started seeing the symbols in real life, people started noticing that these signs started showing up in real life more and more. Just actually within the last 30 days in particular, sightings have been popping up all over the internet, on forum pages, Reddit discussions, Discord chats, OnlyFans, DMs. Probably anywhere you'd imagine anyone would find or share pictures of these weird symbols. People started putting together the fact that they all seem to be the same thing, and they tend to be on trees, spray painted on objects, signs, walls, posters, hung around in various places, and it's the same circle with the two lines going through the middle. Of course, the circle that is in all of these videos in this channel, and now with these thousands of different varying YouTube channels commenting on these thousands of videos. What in blue blazes is going on around here? Well, doing further research on the actual people who took pictures after seeing these symbols in real life, it turns out that, for whatever reason, these signs, these symbols, spray painted in various places, happen to be in places right after very unfortunate and definitely tragic events take place. They basically show up whenever something horrible happens. This one, which is the most high quality picture, was accordingly, based off the original poster's information, posted on a tree right before a wildfire was raging in that area. And this specific area, I think it was in Northern California or Central California, resulted in the displacement of thousands of people or hundreds of people, and also people dying. This one was on a bus stop, which happened to also be where there was a hit-and-run accident the very day before. A man by the name of Mark was doing his daily walk down the street, and right after this event took place, well, he passed by the bus stop as usual and noticed that this thing was on there, and had, of course, no inkling of who or what put it there. So basically, someone was just killed at this bus stop, and then the very next day, this symbol was painted on the side of it. You might want to, like, take some holy water and pour it on the tree and the whole bus stop. But of course, it gets a little bit more unexplainable when we get into the situations of where the signs were actually painted or posted in places before the tragedy took place. There was one of these symbols that was found on the side of a wall on a beach pier right before there was an active shooter. There were other spray paint things that were on there before, and asking other people, going through different people's eyewitness encounters who were even there on the day that the shooting happened, or I guess it was really late at night, actually. They said, yeah, that thing, that Mark was there for a long time, or at least a couple of weeks, and then this thing happens. It's okay. Literally weeks before. And by the way, all of these different unfortunate events just literally have taken place within the span of only the last couple of months, if not even the last just month primarily, where the main amount of reports of seeing the symbol has arisen, and also the main amount of connections between the bad events taking place before and or after people seeing them in a certain place, almost like they are call signs to something. So that brings us to the question of who is responsible for this, because clearly it can't just be one person. All of these things are showing up in different places around the world, let alone just in one single country or one place, and almost simultaneously, relatively speaking. Well, in order to answer this question, we have to reverse image search the symbol itself. The circle is very bland, but of course, the placement of the two bars in the middle of the circle makes it unique enough for my deep learning algorithm to scan the entire internet, which I had custom developed specifically for any potential use in this series. Looks like that Fiverr money went into good hands, because now we're using it. And it turns out that the oldest source of where this image is actually detectable on the entire internet, aside from different, very separated periods of time where it shows up random places, well, of course, it's from, you guessed it, 2008, our favorite year. Because years that end with 8, or have some kind of connection with the number 8, are always fantastically horrible, and are always the beginning of superstitious mythical mysteries that end up on YouTube Unsolved. Well, we come back to this very archaic defunct forum site, and I'm not even going to attempt to try to pronounce what the URL is, and of course, it's no longer available anyways. But luckily for us, I went even more advanced with this. Used the incredible technology of webcitation.org, which is even more powerful than archive.org, also known as Wayback Machine by all you common peasants, to be able to look deep into the original page, the first ever time this symbol was ever seen, and it was just a 1-paragraph post. I'd like to start a religion. I know it sounds tacky, but hear me out. This world is not good enough for us. We do not have the control that we deserve over it. I propose a change. With a legion of like minds, we can arrange a peaceful transition of power from the elites to us, and then take back what we naturally earn, death. Those who disagree should die, and those who follow shall live in the death that they dignify themselves in. And there is no debate. It's our destiny, nevertheless. Allow this call sign to spread with my message, so that in the future's grim light of war, pain, pestilence. It will reflect the truth that I've told here. Life is a temporary measure, my friends. Let's just extinguish it. It's the only ultimate mercy. It's unknown who posted this. Literally, it says unknown. Now, there are actually even more public organizations that actually are based off the idea of the fact that we should, in fact, murder ourselves and just go extinct. Voluntarily. But this seems to be a little bit more cryptic, not really as just straight to the point outgoing as that. I mean, both of them aren't family friendly at all, but this one just happens to seem to have a far more sinister motive behind it. So whoever this poster was who made this random proposition, I guess, they indicated that they wanted this symbol, which I'm assuming that they made, because if they didn't make it, they clearly didn't get it off the internet, because this is the first place it's ever surfaced. They wanted it to spread with their message, so that the future's grim light of pain will reflect the truth I've told here. Now, there's many different conclusions and many different analyzations that we can, of course, pull out of this. Now, firstly, being the fact that this is really culty, but it's more than just a death cult. As I said before, the image surfaced nearly 6 years later on something awful forums, in the form of a Denver airport-style mural painting slash thing, with the thing being featured, and it was tagged underneath that post as well. Now, because of that, I think it's safe to conclude that whatever this symbol is supposed to mean, well, it's definitely not happy sunshine and rainbows, unless you just happen to be living in an opposite world. In which case, I would love to take the first ride there. And then other than that, basically nothing of this image has been known up till now. There's been no activity until all of a sudden this recent explosion. So who owns the main YouTube channel behind this? And how are they related to this original post? Well, the fact that these circle symbols are now starting to show up right after bad events, it may be indicative of a deeper meaning, like especially if they're there beforehand, suggesting that on top of that, someone involved in this whole thing might have actually just been responsible for that bad event, and they marked their territory. At the very least, what we can confirm is the original poster of the symbol was in favor of Jonestowning the whole entire world. Because right now it's just starting to catch on. And these comment bots, if they're even bots, maybe they're actual people, because they go by real, normal usernames. And sometimes people have even seen that they are actually people that upload normal videos of their daily lives, but for whatever reason, their channel profile picture is this symbol, and they're commenting on videos simply asking people, would you like to join the Legion? Would you like to join the Legion? And if you reply, the same thing happens. You get sent this website, which is always a different redirect to the same page. It's never a trackable link. And it's the same page. It's like there's some kind of control over random people's accounts through some kind of back door on YouTube in order to source all the way back to this one channel with no name. Why is there no name to the channel? There's not even a link to the channel. How is it even possible? Literally, the link says YouTube user slash... Literally, it's just blank. It's like, what? Well, the channel was made in 2014, so someone clearly owned this channel for a long time, but they just uploaded 30 videos within the last 1 month, and before that, nothing. But basically, the main moral of the story is, this is actually having a real-life incantation. This is having an effect, because this symbol is being placed in places where bad things are happening. At the very least, it's vandalism. People are going around just spray painting and posting these signs all over the place. Now, one final bonus point I wanted to discuss is the website itself, of course, which is just a landing page where all these redirect links will lead you to if you reply to any of these commenters, and it has a login prompt. And of course, underneath these two very cryptic things, these two statements, you try to log in and nothing will happen no matter what credentials you enter. It won't give you an error or incorrect password. It'll just give you a blank dead end page. It'll give you a disconnect page. Like you do not have access to whatever it is. Now, I actually talked to one of my friends who develops websites, helped me develop my Thetekkitrealm.com website, and he looked into this and basically said that the whole thing is encrypted in base 64 encryption, virtually making it impossible to get into it or bypass it through any kind of hacking shenanigans. So finally, the tinfoil hat section of this entire YouTube Unsolved episode. I guess I saved the best for last because why not? So if this is one actual organization, and this is actually real and not just a troll or anything like that, and it's all connected, becoming more active as bad things start to happen, referring back to this first post, You know, with all the things, coronavirus, climate change, mass shootings, Joe Biden. I mean, that one goes without saying. These people have secretly been growing an organization of believers and are now recruiting more, like everyday people like you and me, doing everyday things like browsing videos, funny little videos on YouTube. Or maybe horrifying ones. But I digress. If you see one of these things in public, just go the other way, don't be involved. That's basically this episode of YouTube Unsolved, and it's getting more and more creepy every single day since this is a continually developing thing, and it's not just like this is some ancient mystery like usual we'd cover that happened years ago. Well, this is happening now. And after all that, I'd like to say thanks for watching. My name is Dallas, aka Inferness, and I'll see you, as usual, in the next one. Goodbye.